If your child had an illness, what would you do to help find a cure? One Burlington dad has taken it upon himself to hit the pavement to train for the grueling 26.2 miles, including the notorious Heartbreak Hill of the Boston Marathon, to raise funds for diabetes research. His inspiration? His 5-year-old son Frankie, who at the age of 4 was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease in which the immune system destroys the insulin-making cells in the pancreas so that the body can no longer absorb glucose from the food that is eaten. Without glucose, there is no fuel for the cells, and one cannot survive. For Frankie, that means regular doses of insulin, which thanks to advances in science are doled out using a Bluetooth-enabled pump that injects the proper amount based on what the child is eating. It may be a bit of a hassle, but it hasn't slowed him down any.
Yeah, he's a happy kid. He rolls with it. Yeah, I think in some ways it's a blessing to be young because it's just kind of his new normal.
Of course, living with diabetes does bring difficulties, and the procedures involved with staying healthy do mean some downtimes for the 5-year-old.
A lot of ups and downs. I mean, the thing you learn once you actually live this is that it's a daily just sort of game of chase, trying to constantly keep everything in check. And there's lots of, pokes and things that he has just adjusted to pretty well. I mean, we have to stick his finger a lot to check his blood sugar, and he gets insulin, with everything that he eats. But he's adjusted, I think, as well as any kid his age could.
Fortunately for Frankie and his parents, they live in Burlington, which is close to all the medical care and research facilities located in Boston. One key institution for them is the Joslin Diabetes Center, founded in 1898, that is known all over the world for its work in diabetes treatment and research.
So Joslin Diabetes Center, we're really lucky to live in Boston, where they do all of this sort of groundbreaking, world-renowned research right here in our backyard. And so Joslin is the leader sort of in the nation, if not the world, at this stuff. And they're doing lots of really exciting research, looking at hopefully ways to cure diabetes, hopefully ways to either transplant back those insulin-making cells that have been killed off, or also there's sort of what they call artificial pancreas, sort of technology ways to give the insulin and balance the blood sugar with technology. And so they're doing all kinds of cool research on both of those fronts. And it really is promising. There's hope on the horizon for these guys, which is why this meant so much to us, because in his lifetime we really could see a cure if we stand behind some of this awesome work that they're doing.
Enter Paul Mansfield, Frankie's dad, who ran the New York Marathon last year, and his decision to run the Boston Marathon and raise funds for the Joslin Center as he does so.
Since his diagnosis, we've been always thinking about what could we do, to support the diabetes research. So I looked at the Joslin's page, and I applied for the Joslin's team to run the Boston Marathon. It was kind of a half-hearted kind of thing. I was like, I just ran. It was tough, but do I want to do it again? Yes, I want to do it.
Initially, Paul wasn't selected from the over 100 runners who applied for the 12 spots on the team, but when someone else dropped out, he was in. This has meant nearly daily runs with longer treks on the weekend, among other types of training. It's a lot of work, but his inspiration is always waiting for him at home.
It's tough, especially with our full family, trying to find time to get out, but every day you see kind of what we have to do, what he has to do, and you worry about, how that's going to affect him in the long run. And so, motivating myself to get out there and go for a run is not such a big deal when, we just have to make sure for him, just to get through a day, you've got to do so much just to maintain that. So, it's motivation, and, to raise money for that kind of research to make his life better is important. So, that's something you can keep in the back of your mind.
We have provided a link to support Paul's fundraising effort with this video if anyone wants to help him meet his goal. From the Mansfield home, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford for BNEWS Weekly.
1 in 300 kids have diabetes just like me. Wait, what's after those?
Thank you. Thank you for making a difference.
Thank you for making a difference.